We're here to talk details about South Slope Fusion. This video is going to give you all the information you need to know about movement standards, requirements for all of the different movements we'll be doing throughout the race. First and foremost, it's important to know that you and your partner are running that course together. Both of you need to complete that run before the next movement can begin. When you're on the 8 other movements, those are done one person at a time. There's no required amount of work that either partner has to do. The only requirement is that the total distance or the total number of repetitions need to be completed before either of you can go back on your next run.
The sled push will be performed on the turf. You will do 4 total lengths of the turf to complete the sled push. The sled itself weighs 100 pounds. The total weight for female teams is 215, which is what's loaded up on the sled currently. The male teams will push 280 pounds. As you are pushing that sled towards the end of the turf, you will come to some cones. Any part of that sled needs to get across those cones. Once any part is across, you can then turn around and begin your push for your next sled length.
Teammates must perform 1,000 meters on the ski erg. The distance can be split however the teammates like, and there is no required damper setting. The full 1,000 meters must be reached before the teammates are allowed to move on to their run. Teams will perform 50 D-ball over shoulder. The reps can be split however the teammates desire. In order for the rep to count, the ball must start at the floor and pass over the top of the shoulder before coming back to the ground. If the ball does not pass over the top of the shoulder, or if the athlete does not reach full extension of the hip at the top of the repetition, that rep will not be counted. The ball can start from the floor and go all the way over the shoulder in one swift motion, or the athlete can pause at their hip and then finish the repetition as long as the ball goes over the shoulder. Teammates must complete 1,000 meters on the rower. The distance can be split however the teammates would like, and there is no required damper setting. The full 1,000 meters must be reached before the athletes can move on to their next run.
Farmer's carry and lunges will be performed in a lap. There'll be a line of cones in the center of the floor that you and your partner will be required to walk around. For the farmer's carry, this will be 6 laps. As you and your partner trade off, or when your farmer's carry is finished, you must set the weights on the floor. Any intentional dropping of the weights will result in a 2-minute penalty. The lunges will be performed in the same lap pattern as the farmer's carry. That weight can be held any way. It can be shoulder loaded, it can be held off to the side, it can be held in front of the body as long as it stays off of the floor. For every rep, the back knee must clearly touch the ground. If you have a repetition where the back knee does not touch the floor, the judge will return you to the spot of your previous good rep. Additionally, you must show full hip extension at the top of each step. If you do not show full hip extension and try to glide and stay low through your lunge reps, those reps will not be counted and you'll be returned to the spot of your last good rep. Burpee broad jumps, both hands must start clearly behind the line. Your entire body must reach the floor. Then you will jump off of 2 feet through the broad jump. As you go into your next rep, your hands must replace the position of your feet before you come to the top and make the next jump. When you get to the end of the lane, you must clearly jump all the way across the end line before you're able to return for your next length. You must jump off of 2 feet. Any jump that is stepped into or not done 2 feet at a time will return you to your previous good rep. For the wall balls, the hip crease must pass clearly below the knee at the bottom of every rep. Any repetition where the hip crease does not pass below the knee will not be counted. The ball must clearly hit the target at the top of each repetition.
Prior to each workout station, teams will be required to perform 2 full building laps around the Underground Fitness building complex. The direction for the building laps is shown in the drone footage and map above. Each individual building lap is about 400 meters in length. Each teammate must complete both full building laps and return back inside the building before they are allowed to move on to their next workout station. Teams that have finished their first building lap will be directed to move on to their second building lap, while teams that have finished their second building lap will be directed into the building to start on their next workout station. In total, each team will perform 8 rounds of 2 building laps during the race.